Good afternoon, class. I'm Lovisa Shao, and welcome to our Business Study Online session.
Good afternoon, class. My name is Longa Medium, and I will be teaching about external communication, where we'll be talking about advantages and disadvantages and giving a few examples.
Good afternoon, class. My name is Miss Itolwa Hileni, and I will be teaching you guys on two-way communication channel, and I'll be looking at its advantages and its disadvantages, as well as its importance in the business context.
Good afternoon, class. My name is Miss Tulonga Johannes, and I will be getting you through one-way communication, of which I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of one-way communication. Thank you.
Okay. Before we start with today's topic, let's have a quick recap on our previous topic, which was effective communication and why it's necessary. When we are talking about effective communication, or when we talked about it, we said it's referred to the transmission mechanism between a source and a recipient whereby messages are conveyed to the receiver and understanding, and then the feedback will occur. But the communication itself, it basically means the transfer of message or information from one person to another. We also said or talked about why the effective communication is important or necessary in the company. It's because it gives a sense of directions as it informs and gives clarifications to the employees about the tasks to be done, the manner in which they are performing the task, and how to improve their performance if it's not up to standard. That's what we talked about. So let's begin with our today's topic, where we'll touch on internal communication. Okay, here we have the definition of internal communications, which says refers to the communication that occurs between members or departments within the same organizations. This is the types of communication that happen inside the company or the business. For example, a messenger talking to the workers, or a report sent from one director to another. Now we can look at the diagram of internal communications, how they communicate inside the company, like with different departments inside the company, which is here is the IT department, HR department, which deal with mostly with workers issues, sales and marketing, and then administration and finance department. Now let's look on or at internal communication pros, which are the good things about using the internal communication inside the company. The first one here, it says it make employees feel valued. So it says this will shows that we show them that the ideas matters in the company and they are respected in the company. The second one, it increase employees' contributions, meaning that if they are communicating inside the company, or they are participating in the in the company, it means they are contributing more on the company matters. I mean, on the company matters inside the business. Lastly, on the pros or the advantages, it helps to keep the confidential information safe. This is just the important information about or of the company will stay inside. It won't go outside the company when they are using internal communications. Now let's look on the disadvantages of internal communications. It will cause conflicts or confusions. Also, the lastly one, it's too many communication channels, meaning that, as you know, that in the company there are, when you are sending out some information inside the company, it has to pass through some level of management, which are top, middle, and then the lower level management. That means for the information to reach the lower level management, it will take time, and most of employees will be left out. So that's it. And then my colleague, Miss Lydia, will continue with external communication.
Okay. So we say that I'm going to teach about external communication. Say that external communication is when messages are sent between one organization and another, or between organizations and other individuals. This is when the message communicate with people outside our organization or our business or company or whatever, which are not our employees. So examples of external communication is goods orders for goods from suppliers. This means the company or the organization wants to get something from the suppliers. Obviously, they need to communicate. So this is basically what external communication is, when they are communicating with the suppliers that we need an amount of certain things and whatever. And then we have advertising goods or services. Advertising goods or services is basically just to tell the people what you guys are selling, to promote your company or your organization. In my company, and these are the So this is a diagram of external communication where we have the company in the middle, we have the suppliers, the shareholders, the associates, and then we have the subsidiaries. So now we're going to look at the advantages and disadvantages, which are also known as the pros and cons of external communication. Our first, we're going to look at the advantages. The advantages of external communication is, we're going to start by saying that it helps to build a good company image. And then we'll say that it also helps to build a good relationship with customers. So when you communicate with your people, with people outside the business, then the organization and the customers will have a good relationship because they can interact in a good way. And then it helps to, the last but not least, it helps to maintain international relations. Now we're going to look at the cons, which are the disadvantages. We're going to start off by saying that revealing a lot of information can be an advantage to the competitors. What do we mean by this? We mean that if you give out too much information, which is not really, which is really too much to the extent that your competitors will know what you are aiming for, where your targeted market or what type of market you are targeting. So you must not really give out information that can let your competitors go above you. You understand? You just give out the necessary information that limits the competitors from knowing everything about your business. Then we're saying that missing information can cause a big negative impact. And last but not least, we're saying that miscommunication can cause a bad brand reputation. By bad brand reputation, it basically means that the company's image will be tarnished if the communication between the organization and the people outside, which are shareholders, associates, or so whatever, if it is not good communication, and then they will have bad things to say about it, which will be a bad image and it will ruin the business reputation. Thank you. My colleague will continue with the next step.
Okay. One-way communication. When we talk of one-way communication, this actually means that the information is transferred in one direction only. That is from the sender straight to the receiver. There is no option for the receiver to give feedback to the sender. And it's mostly like used when the sender wants to give factual information or when they want to persuade or manipulate their audience and give your cooperation. As you can see clearly, the diagram of one-way communication, it's clearly showing that there's a sender and the receiver involved, and it's straight, no other thing. Okay, here comes the advantages and disadvantages of one-way communication. Let's start with the advantages. It is fast. It's fast because it doesn't take time. It's just a way of giving information straight to the receiver. Doesn't require feedback or add any other thing. It's just, yeah, it's fast and it's orderly. There's order. There's no misunderstanding or because it doesn't require much things. Learning of facts is alternative. Okay, let's move to the disadvantages. The disadvantages or the cons are it's like little audience participate. This means that only, let me say this, like it's only two people that are involved in the communication. There is a sender and the receiver. No other people are involved, and the participant doesn't, the receiver doesn't even give feedback. Okay. There's no feedback. This is self-explanatory, like there's no feedback allowed. And it does not influence behavior. This means like when the information is given, it's just given once straight to the receiver, and the receiver doesn't get time to what? To show or give information on how they feel about the information given, because it doesn't require feedback. Thank you, hope you understand.
Good afternoon again, learner. Okay, we are going to talk about two-way communication. That is our topic for today. Okay, so what is two-way communication? Two-way communication is, I used to call it that it's a dual communication process. What does that mean? During this communication channel, information or messages are transferred in a two-way direction, which is from the sender to the receiver. Okay, now, during this communication channel, the sender sends a message or passes information onto the receiver, and the receiver is supposed to give feedback. How is the receiver giving feedback? He or she does that by responding, by giving a response to the message or to the instruction or whatever information was sent out. Okay, that is what is two-way communication. Okay, what is the importance of why is this type of communication channel very important? It is important in a business world or in a business organization because communication is encouraged, and businesses do not operate in isolation. By that, I mean that there are other stakeholders or parties that are interested or that are involved in the business or an organization. So now the communication between these stakeholders or between these parties should be a two-way communication. And that is also how, by giving feedback, is also how we determine, or the sender determines, that the message was understood or the information that was passed out was understood. Okay, looking at the diagram, this diagram just basically explains what I was just shows what I was explaining before. It means that the diagram shows that the sender sends a message to the receiver, and the receiver is supposed to give a response or is supposed to respond to that message that was given by the sender. Okay. Now, looking at two-way communication has advantages and disadvantages, the good and the bad, which are also known as the pros and cons. Okay, let us look at the good side of this communication channel. The first one is more audience participation. As I said, there are a lot of parties or stakeholders involved in a business setting. So that means that there's a larger audience of people that do use this, that are using this communication channel. Okay, learning is more democratic. Learning is more democratic in a sense that everybody is free, or yes, everybody is free and has the right to air their views on a certain issue or a certain problem, or on they have everybody can learn from each other's input when it comes to a certain issue or problem that is being encountered in the organization or business. This channel is also open to feedback. As I explained earlier in one of my slides, I said that during this channel, feedback is encouraged. When people respond, when the receiver responds, sends a response to the sender, that means that the person has given feedback. Okay, it may also influence behavior change. Okay, I can explain this with a simple example of saying that, for example, if in an organization we have a problem, or a business, we have a problem of employees coming to work late. Now, the manager or whoever, top management, will send out an information notice saying that, guys, you guys are coming late for work, and everybody is supposed to respond. So those people, it's not all the employees that come late, but those that used to come late will obviously change their behavior of coming late based on the input that was given by other colleagues. and they will maybe give solutions or to say that no, if you are supposed to be at work at 8, you must not wake up at 7:30, but at least wake up at 7 so that you can make it in time, and then that will encourage their change of behavior. Okay, when we look at the cons or the bad part, what is so bad about this type of channel, communication channel? It's slower and takes more time. In what sense? When we talk about this, we are talking about the decision-making process, the process of taking action. When an urgent action needs to be taken, or an urgent decision needs to be taken in an organization, it will take time when we use a two-way communication, because you have to consult each and every party that is involved. That is involved. For example, you have to send out information to the customers, to the suppliers, to the employees, and then you have to wait for them to respond before an action is taken, which is very bad for the business, because sometimes you need to take drastic decisions. You have to take some decisions, or some decisions needs an urgent action, but two-way communication channel does not have room, does not provide room for that. Okay, class, this is the end of our session. I just have to conclude. By concluding, I want us to give a recap on what we have discussed in this classroom. Okay, we talked about Ms. Lovisa gave an overview or a recap on the previous lesson, and then she also gave an overview on the internal communication as well as external communication that was presented by Ms. Lydia. We also covered the aspect of one-way communication and two-way communication that I was just talking about now, and we looked at their importance, their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, I hope the lesson was clear. I hope the concepts were well understood and you gained the knowledge. If not, you are free to ask questions at the end of the class. Once I'm done with handing out your homework, you are free to ask questions where you don't understand. Okay, or you can do so in our next lesson when you are going to do the recap. Okay, homework for you students. Can you take out your books and write down the homework? The question is, assume you are working or you are employed in a certain organization or business. Now, you are employed as a communication manager. This business provides raw materials to its consumers, it supplies raw materials to its customers. Now, you are asked to advise the board on which communication channel to use. Which channel are you supposed to use? Either one-way communication channel or two-way communication channel, and then you must state why. Basically, the question, let me just simplify it for you. It's that what type of communication channel would you use in such an organization and why? I need my homework tomorrow. In our next class, please do bring my homework. Thank you. Have a great day. This is the end of our lesson.